Hi, okay, now page 4 is going to be like a plain page. I'm just going to put score tape on the back, and this is how it's going to go in the album. Later on I might go back and put decorative corners just to, dress it up a little bit. But right now I'm going to leave it just like this because page 3 has a lot going on, and I don't want things to get too bulky in that area. So this is going to be page 4. So now let's go on to page 5. Okay, pages 5 and 6 are going to be done exactly the same. And what I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using the Spellbinders die right here, and I think it's called S6028, if I'm reading that correctly. And I'm going to be using the larger die here, and so this is what it looks like. So this is what I'm going to be using. And on my base pages, I've already cut mine out because I needed to make sure I was going to get this right. This is what I'm using for my base pages. I've got this, and it looks like that on the back. And then for the other page, it's going to be this, with that on the back. And what I did is I just have this, and I put it where I wanted it to be on my page. So if you're going to be using a different punch out or what, just center it where you want it on your page, and then just run it through your die cutter. And what I also did, because you need to have a little pull out, and you'll understand why as we start making the page. And this little dip here, I didn't use a punch, so what I did is I just took this and I just set it up here, and I ran that through the die cutter, and it leaves that little pretty, dotted little edge around there, which I thought was really nice. So that's what I did here. So that's what we're going to do with our base pages. So do your base pages, cut out your centers, make your little notch so you can pull out, because what's going to happen is we're going to have a removable picture mat in here. So we'll go ahead. So go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, after you do that, you're going to want to get your white cardstock, and you're going to want to put this on your cardstock. You might have a piece of scrap cardstock that you can use, and just put it on there, center this up. You can tape it down so it doesn't move, and then you're going to want to run that through your die cutter, and you need to do this 2 times. So let's do that. Okay, you should have 2 of these. And the inside pieces, you don't need to worry about these little, we're not using those. These are good to, if you're giving the album away, to send along so they can have a template to cut out pictures to go in here, but we don't need that right now. And this is what it's going to look like. Let me show you. Let me move that out of the way. It's just going to frame right like that. So that's what it's going to be looking like. Okay, so we've got these 2 pieces, and we've got this. Now you need to take some white cardstock, and you need to also cut that to 7 1/4 by 8 3/4. So why don't you go ahead and do that. Okay, your pages, the ones that you just cut out, should fit perfectly behind these like that. So what we're making is actually, it's like a large pocket. So that's what we're going to be having right here. And this is all I'm going to do to that. So what you need to do is just take some score tape or glue and just go around the right, the bottom, and the left side, and then just glue it to your white cardstock so it looks like that. So why don't you go do that, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. You're going to need to cut 2 pieces of cardstock that are 6 1/4 by 8 1/2, and this is what we're going to be using as our picture mat. That's going to actually, just to show you where we're at here, I don't have everything. That's actually going to slide in here, and it's going to have our picture on here. So you need to cut those 2, and then after you have cut those, you can just set those aside, because now we need to decide what pictures that we want to put in here. And the pictures that we're putting in here are mainly just so that it looks nice when you open the album. The recipient's going to just take that out and add their own picture. So, and what I am using is this image here. I'm going to do one for the man and one, one for the bride, one for the groom. I got these two images here that I cut out, and it's this on the back. And all I did was just take the inner circle die. Where did I put it? I just took this circle die, found out what, I placed it how I wanted it to be. If this is the image you want, you can use any image, but this is the one I picked out. And then I just ran that through my die cutter. So I did it for that, and I did it for this one too. Okay, so now we've got all that. Now we just need to assemble everything, and so let me get everything how I want it to assemble, and we'll assemble this together. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the cover to the cardstock. And you can do it however you like. You can use score tape, you can use wet glue. I'm going to use wet glue and just go around the left or right and the bottom. Leave the top totally open and just do this on both pages and just glue these together. So let's do that. Take your pieces that are 6 1/4 by 8 1/2 and put them in your little pocket and center them up on either side. Just try to get this centered. They don't have to be the same width as your pocket is, because this is mainly just a picture mat just to hold it, and it can move side to side. It really doesn't matter, but if you want to make it all the way across you can, but I'm not. So what you need to do is go all the way down, center it on both sides, and then find your image that you're going to, or the picture that you're going to put in here. And I have this one that I'm going to start with right here. And what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to center it, how it's going to look, and then we're going to actually just glue that on. So everything seems to fit fine. We're just checking. And you can just pop that out. I'm just going to add wet glue on the back of this, and then I am going to put it right inside there, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Once I have it glued onto my picture mat, I just pulled it out of the pocket so I could rub it really good. So that's what I have, and it should go right back in. And you just line it up so it lines up, and there you go. So the next thing we need to do is we just need to trim all this off, this excess. So let's do that. This is what they look like. It's been trimmed. Now later on, when I start my embellishments, I'll put a little pull, something to pull to make it easier to take that off. I'll put a little pull something on that. But this is what we have so far. This is what they look like. So the next thing we need to do now is to take our little frame that we cut out, and we're going to attach it here. But before we do that, I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to stick some scrap paper back there in case any glue oozes out. And I'm just going to just line it up like that. I'll center it and make sure it's all lined up and get those frames on. So let me do that, and then I'll show you what they look like. These 2 pages are complete, so they look like this. They turned out really nice. And this does get sent along with the album, so they can use this as a template to cut out their picture that they can just cut out and just set over this. So this is just something to do so that the album looks pretty when you open it. So let's go on to the next page. Okay, page 7. We're going to have a lot going on page 7. The first thing we need is our base page, and this is what I'm using for my base page. It looks like that on the back. We're going to be making a pocket for the bottom. So for the pocket, we need to just cut a piece that is 5 1/2. And I just used a scratch that is 8 1/2 by 11, so this is 11 across this way. And then do your punch, and this is the one I'm doing for this pocket here. That's this one, and I am using this, and I do cut out the solid piece to go behind. So that's going to be for the pocket. And this is going to be a wraparound pocket. So I'm going to be placing a piece of score tape on the bottom, and I'm replacing this here. I'll center it, and then I'll wrap around the edges, and I'll tack it down, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. Just put it down, and then it's attached on the back like that. So now we just need to find a piece of decorative paper to put here, and I found this little piece right here in my scraps. I'm just going to measure that to fit, and then I'm going to go glue that down. Okay, I've got that on, and I'm going to actually put this, I cut that out of the paper, and I'm just going to center it, and I'm going to put that right here. And so I don't accidentally use this one, I'm going to stick it in here because that's going to be a picture mat, so I'm just going to tuck it in there so I don't accidentally get into it. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to glue that down just like that. So let me do that. Let's set this off to the side, because now we're going to work on our left-sided flip outs, and we're going to have 2 of those. So you need to make sure you cut a piece that is 7 1/4 by 7 and 7 1/4 by 6 1/2, and it's going to go like this. They're just going to go inside each other. So on the larger one that is 7, I think what it was, 7 and a, I think it was 7. Yeah, 7 across. You're going to want to score at 1/2 and then at 5/8. And on the other one you're going to score at 1/2 and then again at 3/4. So there'll be a 1/4 inch gusset on that one. And this one only has a 1/8. So we are going to start working on the larger one first. So let's do that. So let me get everything ready for that, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's find a piece of paper to go here. And this is the one I found. Just make sure, you know, when you put it on there that you get a nice little white border all the way around. Just make it to fit. And then we're going to just set this off to the side because we're not ready for that yet, because we're going to be putting a pocket on this one. So you need to cut a piece for your pocket. Let me make sure I give you the right measurement here. That's going to be 4 3/4, and I've got 7 by 3/4. And I'm going to be using this die here for my pocket. And that's this one right here. So that's the one I'm going to use. And I just went in my scraps and found a piece that would fit. Now from here to here, depending on what is 3 inches, because I'm not sure what die you're using, but it's 3 inches, and that's going to get centered right here. And then I'll just wrap around the edges, and then we'll put something right here. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is on, so I just need to find a piece of paper that goes here, which I did, and it's this one here, and it had all the different cutouts on the back. And I am going to just put that here, like that. And then I also cut this piece out. That was actually from the back of this one, too. The little top hat. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. And then I'm going to center this right here so it'll look like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now all we need to do is just place glue around and attach it to this. Make sure you have your flaps folded all the way over, and then you can just center it so you have a little bit of white showing all the way around. So I'm going to do that. Okay, the next thing we need to do is just flip this over, and we're going to work on the inside here. So we need to find a piece of paper that's going to go here. And I found this one here, and it looks like that on the back. And that's going to go right in here, but not right now. Before we do that, set off to the side. We're going to actually put a little side pocket here. So you're going to need to cut a strip for your side pocket. Let's see, what do I have here for measurement? I think it was 2. Yeah, 2 by 7 3/4. Because it's going to be on the side, and we just need enough to just wrap around. And then we need to find a little piece that goes in here, so let me look for that. I found this little strip. and my scraps that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to be putting that there. But before I do that, I'm going to put the side pocket on, and it's going to go on the left side. So we're just going to put some score tape or glue at the bottom, or the side I should say, right along here. Attach your little pocket, and then with the little extra that's hanging off, just roll it around and we'll just attach those in the back. So let me do that and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, and I've got it together. Here's my little pocket, and then I just put this over. So what you're going to do now is you're just going to attach it to the back side of this flip out. Just make sure you stay away from your score line over here. And just center it top bottom, and then just glue it down. So let me do that. Okay, this flip is complete over on this side. So now let's get started on the other one. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do is fold our score lines all the way back, and let's find a piece of paper that's going to go right here. And this is the piece I picked out for the front. It looks like this on the back. So that's going to get attached like this. But before we do that, we're going to be making another pocket here. And it's this one right here, and we have the same measurements as the first pocket. So we're just going to put some glue or score tape down at the bottom, center this, and glue that down. So let me do that. Okay, I got the pocket on, secured in the back, and I found this piece of my scraps. I'm going to go ahead and measure this, cut it to fit, and then I'll glue that down right here. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so I have my piece on, and then I cut this piece out here for this little, and the tags, and then I was going to center that right under there like this for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. Okay, this is what it looks like. Now we just need to flip it over. Well, not this. We need to flip this over, because this is actually going to get attached here. As a matter of fact, we can go ahead and just attach that now. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on here, and I'm going to attach it to this flip out, but make sure you fold it all the way over to do that. And then put it on, line it up, make sure you have a nice white border all the way around. So let's do that. I'm going to turn this over. The paper that I was going to, well, the design that I was going to put on the inside of this flap here was originally going to be this one. And it looks like this on the back. But then when I saw the back, I thought, oh my gosh, that might look nice here. Because when this is attached like this, and when you flip it over, then you get the little, you get the suit and the hat together instead of this and this. So I think I'm going to actually go with this. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay, it's together, and that's how it is going to be on that. So now we need to just attach all our pieces to our base page, which is right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the largest one with the smallest gusset. That's going to be the one that we put in first. And you're going to fold it all the way out to the first score line and keep the second score line in. Place it right in here. Make sure everything's lined up and centered. Get everything right where it needs to go. Should look just like that. Then we're going to flip it over, and then we're going to tack it down right here. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so this flip is on. Just like that. So now we need to put this one, bring it all the way out, put it on, make sure it's centered, and tack it down, and that's what we need to do. Okay, this is page 7. I went ahead and some of the cutouts, I went ahead and stuck them in here so I don't accidentally cut through them later on. I'd grab them while I could, but this is how it looks. So all I have to do is put score tape around the back, and I'm going to set this off to the side, and I'll attach it into my album later. Page 8 is going to be a simple page. We're just going to need a base page, and then we're going to need to die cut out 2 of these little corners from this die cut. This one right here. We just need 2 of those on our cardstock. We're going to place one on the upper right and one on the lower left, and that's going to be it for this page. And you're going to be able to get a nice size picture up under here, because I cut this one out 8.5 by 7, and that'll slide up right up under there really nicely. So you'll get a nice size picture in there. So that's all we're going to do for page 8.